Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome back to Watching Chickies. Hello, Miss Braveheart. Yeah, lovely to see you as always. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Braveheart had yet another egg today, making it 8 days in a row that she has laid an egg. Today is a very wet and stormy day, so the chickies are going to be most likely staying in. I just did a little bit of sweeping before we started, and then, oh, Miss Kagome! What is going on today? Such a fussy girl. And Stormy's going too. There's been a little bit of an argument between Kagome and Stormy over the past couple of days. A bit of growing pains for our young rooster as he starts to try to assert a bit more authority on the flock. It was their first real kind of little fight there yesterday, but they seem to have been getting along now. Stormy has definitely figured out that mating involves more than pulling on a few feathers. He has learned that he needs to jump on top, where he's actually been trying to mate more these days with, in the past day or so, with our Kagome, rather than Braveheart, who just narrowly avoided pooping on me. Thank you for avoiding hitting me with that, Braveheart. I was originally supposed to be working today, and we got called out at the last minute, but because I was booked, I'm still getting paid today, so I get to spend a bit more time with the chickens, and we clean up with them after them. Today's going to be laundry day for these blankets, because it's been a couple of days now. We throw them into the washing machine after every 2 to 3 days, depending on the wear. And yeah, it's pretty easy to keep up after them. We sweep and we mop about twice a day. And the chickens are just having a nice time now. The weather is really bad outside. And yeah, these are nice, lovely pet chickens. These are not working animals. Before you in gray is our silky rooster named Stormy. In black is our ayam cemeni hen named Braveheart. And over there in brown and gold is our onagadori hen named Kagome. The onagadori is an endangered breed of chicken from Japan. And all three of these guys make one happy little flock. Braveheart has been laying eggs as of late. The past 8 days in a row, she has laid an egg each and every morning. So she's been doing so well with that. Kagome will probably start laying in about a month's time, and Stormy will eventually manage to mate with one of the girls, which will lead to us getting some fertilized eggs, which might mean a couple more chickies for our flock. Little hybrid chickens. Oh, and Black White Panda 9, yeah, Stormy was crowing, so I tried to start the stream quickly to see if I could catch one of the crows right in the beginning of the stream, and it worked out quite nicely today. Yeah, quite a noisy chickie. Oh, don't try it, Mr. Stormy. Our Kagome is not ready to mate yet. She is not. The chickens are enjoying their feed right there. It's a mix of their layer pellets, which we've pulverized. We put in a mix of sunflower seeds, and then a mix of some dried anchovies. We've also put in a good mix of grit to go along with that, to aid their digestion as they go along. And Helio says 33. Thank you for the silver award today. That's very much appreciated. Hello. Hello there, my boy Stormy. Such a crower today. This morning, I actually got to see Braveheart laying right before me. I came into the room right when she was laying her egg. It was over there in their little sand bath, and it was quite the moment. She was, getting ready to push. She was like looking up at me. I looked at her, and it was a nice quiet moment. There were a few low little clucks, and then she just kind of had the egg and walked away from it. She went up to me like a proud little hen. I gave her a little pat, and it was a really nice time. And Antique Appearance, thank you for the helpful award. Much appreciated. And Black White Panda 9, thank you for the wholesome award. And Shay Stew, well, I'm glad you do like the chickens. Oh, Braveheart's going for a little drink right there. Beak full, and then head back. Our lovely little flock of tiny dinosaurs. Isn't that right, Miss Kagome? Yeah. Hello, Mr. Oh, no, Mr. Stormy. Kagome's not ready for mating. Oh, dear. She's not even laying eggs yet. Miss Kagome does not like to be jumped on. Oh, my, oh, my. I know, Stormy, I know. It's so hard to tell a young rooster not to mate. The girls are doing a pretty good job of telling him no, but his hormones are just raging these days. The girls have really been looking after each other to that regard. Braveheart's actually tackled Stormy off of Kagome a couple of times. Kagome has told off Stormy for mating with Braveheart. Neither of the two seem all that interested in mating yet. And, that's fine. He just needs to wait until they grow up enough to really want to mate. I'd say Kagome right now is still probably more firmly in the teenage stage than the adult stage. Our Braveheart is definitely more adult now, as she is laying an egg every day. But I don't really think she recognizes Stormy as a potential partner yet. Hopefully that will change in the next couple of months or so. But we'll see. The dynamics of this little flock can be a little bit complex at times. It kind of moves about. In the past day or so, Stormy has been trying to make some moves to be more of an authority in the flock, which led to a little scuffle yesterday between him and Miss Kagome. We actually separated them briefly after they were outside together yesterday. But then they all kind of made up, and things have been going peacefully since then. It was their first ever real kind of little fight, and from talking with friends with chickens and everything, it was always sort of inevitable, considering that Kagome as a hen has taken the leadership position, that as a rooster, Stormy would eventually want to try to usurp her. So far, Kagome has managed to retain her position. She might continue to retain her position even after Stormy is full grown. So we'll just have to see how it develops over time. And yes, sometimes chickens fight. Just like kids growing up, it's gonna eventually happen. I have a sister. We inevitably ended up fighting a few times. And yeah. And actually, we only have 3 chickens, so it doesn't really stink in here. When you have a huge flock, it might be, it probably wouldn't be good to keep them in a room this size, but this is a pretty good sized room. We clean after these chickens 2 times a day through sweeping and mopping. We clean all of their blankets and towels every 2 to 3 days. And as a result, we keep any mess pretty firmly under control. And then, of course, they spend a lot of time outside, so a lot of their droppings go out there. So, yeah, it's as long as you just, put in the time, you put in the effort, you're gonna make sure that there isn't really much of any smell to contend with, there isn't much of any mess to contend with. I recommend what we do with their droppings is we actually incorporate it into our compost bin. That helps quite a bit. You might as well use that stuff for your yard, for your garden. It can help break down other stuff in there. And yeah, so we just stay on top of it and it's not a big deal. And Kagome's little comb has gotten a little floppy. I think it's a little bit stylish, a little bit rakish on there. I think it's quite a good look for her. We didn't fight about keeping chickens in the house. In fact, for quite a while, I was saying to my partner Lauren that we thought that this was going to be a temporary measure, keeping them in the house until they were fully grown. Mostly because we were afraid that before they were fully grown, that they wouldn't be able to fight off any potential predators that got into their coop. Unfortunately, since then we've had some friends with full-grown hens that have had, backyard chickens in our area that have been killed by raccoons and stuff that have had similar coop setups to ours outside. So we decided, you know what, this room's already devoted to them anyway, so it's safer in the long run just to keep them inside for sleeping purposes. They could go out during the day, they could go out when the weather's not so bad and blustery like today with the rain. And yeah, so this is going to be more of a more permanent fixture, a more permanent chickie room. We weren't really using this room for anything else anyway. It was just kind of empty. And our neighbors, well, we have a pretty big plot of land here. They can't really hear the chickens, especially when they're inside. They might be able to hear Stormy during the day when he gives a few crows when he's in our yard. But otherwise, the neighbors, no complaints about our 3 chickens. They haven't really played with the xylophone. It's just really a splash of color in the room. The chickens act more offended when they see me kind of touching it. They don't really like the errant noises that it plays. And yeah, the room kind of was waiting for them. At one point, we had roommates in the house. We have quite a few. This is a bit of a bigger house, and we had a roommate at one point living down here. So it's a decently sized room, big enough for, an adult human. And it's more than big enough for 3 little chickens, and probably more than big enough for 5 little chickens if we are increasing the flock that much. And my phone, there we go. Hey there, Mr. Stormy. Hello. Yeah, it was funny that at one point, they were just so happy playing on the blanket, and now they have one whole big playroom to themselves. Oh, Mr. Stormy, come here. Come here to Dad. There you go. There you go, my lovely. Mr. Fluffy Butt. Oh, and Stormy is definitely a kind of punk rock looking chicken. He is a silky rooster. And the silky breed is definitely quite funky. They are covered in these fur-like feathers their whole life. They were originally bred in China about 2,000 years ago. And they have hyperpigmentation, which means that they have black skin, black muscles, black organs, and even black bones. Our ayam cemeni Braveheart, she also has hyperpigmentation. This breed originally came from the Java Islands in Southeast Asia. And, you know, they were known as quite a lucky breed of chicken. Some even purport mystical qualities to them. They're quite an intelligent breed of chicken, very good-natured. She is quite the fan of jumping into my lap, getting a few little pets. But then she could decide, no, I don't want any pets anymore, and just wander off. She kind of has almost like the spirit of a house cat. And it is lovely just to hear them chat to each other. They're a little quiet at the moment. Today's been quite the noisy day for them because there's been lots of gusting of wind outside. Quite a rainy day today. If I had put them in the coop, they probably would have been drenched by now because the rain at times has been kind of going sideways. So even with their little roof, you know, it would have just still drenched them, and I would have had to be giving our little Stormy a little bit of the hair dryer to get him all nice and warm. NYC Kid, yeah, they can hop into my lap to get pets. I pick up each of them every day. Kagome likes to ride on my shoulder, and she snuggles up to my head. Our Stormy, he likes to just sit in laps and get pets for a while. He can be quite the good little boy when we put him into his basket and he watches TV next to us. He's very invested in television. He likes to crow whenever he sees somebody sing. And then he gets very like rapt attention if he sees anything that's like military involved. If he sees, like when I'm watching like the Stargate series, he always gets very interested for some reason. He doesn't seem to like commercials. And then Miss Braveheart, well, she's good at just being with me on my lap, and just kind of sitting next to me at times. And yeah, chickens can enjoy TV quite a bit. One of the changes that we were actually planning for the chickens as we are heading into these winter months is we're actually planning on putting a small TV down here when they don't get to go outside as much, and just playing a collection of maybe nature videos, some music videos and stuff for that, just so they can have that extra stimulation. Because, you know, chickens aren't dumb animals. They like to be able to experience things. They can have an interesting level of intelligence. You can see the wheels going on behind their eyes when you're like talking to them when they're considering something new, depending on the breed. You know, some chickens are a little smarter than others. I will be the first one to admit. Stormy is not the smartest chicken of our flock, though he does have a lovely heart there. You know, as we see over there, he's very much considering eating some food, but he has frozen for some reason. Like, he is frozen completely. The chicken operating system has ceased to function. Stormy needs a reboot. So hold on for just a second. Boop. There you go, Stormy. I booped our Stormy and he's moving again. Miss Kagome is just eyeing him for now. See? He's not trying to usurp your authority right now. He's just trying to eat and trying to remember what he was trying to eat. Oh, Stormy. Now you see, he's kind of raised his hackles right there. And he's eyeing Kagome. Now Kagome gave him a little bit of a look there, telling him that there would be trouble if he proceeded. Now that got our little Mr. Stormy to freeze. He didn't go in to try to mate, and instead he went to preen a little bit. Now he's testing the waters. We see him kind of raising his head again. Kagome's keeping an eye on him, and he's trying to decide what he's going to do. Now he's standing almost right in between Kagome and Braveheart here. And I think he's decided, you know what, I'm just going to try to eat a few little bits of food off the blanket, and I'm not going to try to do anything with hanky. Oh. I'm seeing that look, Stormy. Be a good boy. Be a good boy. There you go. A little bit of preening to your little feet feathers there. Going to eat a bit more. The girls are grouped together. Oh, he's doing a side shuffle, trying to get close to Braveheart there. Either that was unintentional, or I think he might be trying to go in for a little bit of mating soon. Oh my. Mr. Stormy, what is going on in your head there? I know, a lot of hormones. Now I'm seeing that there's a bit of his little fluffy hairstyle within his field of vision at the moment. So I'm thinking tonight probably would be a good night for us to give him a little bit of a haircut. Generally speaking, when Stormy has more of his feathers in his eyes, he tends to be just naturally a little bit more aggressive. And, you know, that's because he's just seeing the world in a bunch of shadows. He's seeing a bunch of objects within his field of vision. He could barely see anything. So at times, like, he might even try to bite something that quickly comes in, you know, into his sight line. So, yeah, I think it's going to help things if we give him that little trim tonight. The girls are enjoying their little meal now. There we go. And everything is peaceful for the moment. Now, in a little bit, I am going to be probably stepping away for a second because I see I have a few different emails kind of waiting for me. And while work did get canceled today, it's going to be rescheduled for another day. My day job is being a professional background actor, usually working out of New York City. I was booked for work today and it was canceled the last minute. The beautiful thing about being a member of the SAG-AFTRA union is that as long as I was booked, I still get paid for today. So even though I didn't go in for work today, I'm still getting paid for the full day. So that was a nice thing. I did recently finish a manuscript for a new book I was working on. I got the first draft finished, and I have officially begun my editing of that. It is a fantasy novel, and yeah, I just need to get down to work, making sure all of those edits go through. So because I'm working on doing the editing, I have decided, you know what, it's time to stop doing new writing, and I need to finish this new project. So over the past 2 years, I have decided to try to, get a little bit more agency in my own life. My goal for year one was to get a handle on my health. 2 years. Oh, yep, Stormy got told off there. He backed off. Good job. 2 years ago, so my first goal was to get a handle on my health. I was getting sick all of the time. I was getting close to getting type 2 diabetes. I weighed a little bit more, over 300 pounds. And, I decided that year I was going to get my health under control. In 1 year, I managed to lose 160 pounds. Since then, I've maintained my weight of 140 pounds. I got my blood pressure under control. I am no longer in danger of type 2 diabetes. I don't really get sick nearly as often, and I feel great. My goal for year two was to start writing again. Since then, for the past year and a half, I have written every day. For most of that time, I wrote a short story every day. I wrote about 430 short stories before, in this past month and a half, writing a new novel manuscript. So, it's been great. I feel like I've leveled up in my writing quite a bit. And my goal here for year three is to finally, push forward and actually get through to my kind of prime goal of getting published. Since I was a little kid, I've always dreamed of being a writer. It's kind of something that I knew I wanted to be since I was in the 3rd grade. For quite a lot of my life, I just wrote the errant short story here or there. Before this novel manuscript, I've written maybe 6 others over the span of about 12, 13 years. All of them kind of hodgepodge with big time gaps in between. So this time I'm going to make a real push for it. I'm working on editing all of the work that I've put forward and just seeing about getting an agent and just getting published. Now, all of these are just things that I'm working on by myself. These are my own goals that I've set for myself year by year. And it, has really made me feel like I'm sort of regaining control over my life. It might not be the best way for someone else to, go about their own goals, but it certainly has helped me. Just choosing one main thrust for a year, working on that, and just doing your best. And all the while, over these past almost 6 months now, these little chickies have been helping me out, just, quite emotionally. These streams in the middle of the day are quite good ways of just centering yourself, a little bit of chicken therapy here, a little chicken meditation, just watching them be themselves. Oh, and Cry Eagle, no, I've never really attempted to hypnotize them. I've seen the videos of people hypnotizing chickens in the sand, and the chickens never seem all that happy afterwards. They always seem to be a little bit upset, a little bit stressed out, and it's not an emotion that I really want these chickens to be feeling. I want them to feel happy, and so I don't really want to do that to them. If that makes any sense there. These are just our little pets, members of our family and friends for life. So I only want the best for them. There we go, guys. Oh, and then the videos where people hypnotize chickens, it's really just, from what I've seen in the videos, people press the chicken's head to the sand, and then they draw a line in the sand, and that activates some sort of instinct within the chicken, where they just become paralyzed for a moment. Some theorize it's some sort of ancient instinct about them dealing with snakes. Usually when they come out of it, they look a bit upset to me, so it's not something I've ever attempted to do with these chickens, even though, you know, we have sand over there. I mean, some people just do it as a parlor trick. But I don't think it's something you really want to do. I mean, it's something like when you do that, like paralyzing trick to rabbits. It never seems to make them happy. It stresses them out. And, you know, what's the point of that? For just like a few seconds of, you know, laughing at their misfortune. You know, it doesn't seem good fun when the, you know, the animal doesn't really end up happy at the end. Yeah, it's just a bit of quiet eating right now. I'm just letting them be. Braveheart's eating quite a bit, which has become quite normal. She has laid 8 eggs in 8 days now, still continuing her streak. She's so unusual for an ayam cemeni, because by having these 8 eggs in 8 days, she's basically managed to have as many eggs as some ayam cemenis have in 8 weeks, in nearly a 1-week period. So she's definitely quite an example of the breed. Wanna come here? There you go, Braveheart. Lovely girl. Good girl, yeah. Wiping off your beak on Dad. Oh my, oh my. Did you have a good meal there? Yeah? Oh, you turning into a burp blob? Yeah, you happy on Dad? Good job. Lovely, lovely. What you up to? Yeah, you had a good meal? What's that? There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. What, you want more attention, Mr. Stormy? What? Anything to say? Ooh, little dinosaur noises there. Oh my, oh my. Alright, guys, well, we have about 10 minutes of the program left today. And you know what? Today, I think what we're going to do, because it's such a rainy day outside, is I'm going to step away when we are done with today's broadcast. And I might set up a little chickie cam for you guys and me to watch the chickens while I'm doing a little bit of work upstairs. Yeah. How'd you feel about that? Pretty good there, Miss Braveheart? Okay. Or maybe I'll just let the chickens just have a little bit of downtime. Oh, and blue skies arise. Yeah, that's been kind of the same thing for me. I've liked chickens ever since I was a kid. I saw my uncles raise chickens. He's raised ducks and a bunch of other animals like rabbits. And I thought it was just kind of neat. And during this period of the pandemic, all of the quarantines and such, we just saw our opportunity to have our own little flock here. We got our 3 birds, and, we have just had quite a good time being kind of these chicken parents. Congratulations on finishing the first half of your program today, Shiznik. My plans today for the rest of my day, I need to just catch up on a little bit of work. I am going to be doing a lot of editing on my novel manuscript after this. And then, just get through a bunch of chores that I have to do around the house. When you have a house, the chores never ever seem to be completely done, but it's always a good idea just to chip in with a few. I need to make sure all of the Chickies' blankets and towels get into the washer after this to get them nice and clean. And yeah, so I got the rest of my day planned out. Hopefully I could finish my initial edits for my novel, and this is just going through little bits of grammar and just like spelling errors and stuff like that, just little obvious mistakes. Hopefully I managed to finish within about a week getting that done. That's my goal at the moment. And then I'm going to be sending out the novel to my alpha readers. Now, some of you out there might have heard the term alpha readers before. Alpha readers are usually, closer friends or acquaintances of an author that they trust, that they send a rougher draft of their novel to. These are novels that are probably going to be changed quite a bit from the version that you see published. They get the first initial look of how it's going to be. They get to offer all of their commentary, and they can be quite important in the development of the book. They'll tell me what their likes are, what their dislikes are, and that will help me for any future rewrites to the manuscript. And yeah, and then after that, I will have another version of the book that will go out to the beta readers. Now, the beta readers, they get their hands on something that's a lot more polished, something that will resemble a lot more of what would actually be published. And yeah, so that's how it's going to go forward. And I have a few other novel manuscripts that I could be working on for rewriting. The past 2 days, I started a couple of chapters of a new novel, but I decided I'm going to put that on hold until I finish this one. I need to get it all worked out. I spent this last year working on my writing, so Oh, Chickies. Oh, Stormy. I think that's the most I've seen Stormy hustle. Oh my, look at him put his head up like that. Oh, Miss Kagome is not happy with Mr. Stormy. Oh, Mr. Stormy, oh dear, oh dear. Miss Kagome is not ready for hanky-panky. She's told you that so many times. How strong are these hormones running through you? Oh dear, oh dear. I know, Miss Braveheart. This is why you're sitting with Daddy, huh? You're safe from Mr. Stormy up here. He's not one to jump into Dad's lap. Oh my, oh my. What are we gonna do with you, Stormy? What do you do with your teenage boy chicken? It's hard to give him a talk when he's not all that into understanding English. You know, he pretty much knows his name. He knows when I'm talking about sesame seeds. He knows when I'm talking about food. Yeah, food. And other than that, I can't really talk to him about the birds and the bees. The only bees that he ever knows about are the ones that he catches outside. Having a nice time preening there, Braveheart? Covering Dad's leg in just a whole bunch of chicken dander as you get nice and clean. A servant of kindness asks, how different are their sleep patterns from humans? And they're pretty similar to human beings. You know, they like to get up with the sun, and they like to go to sleep when it's dark. So they pretty much maintain a similar schedule to myself and my partner Lauren. We tend to stay up a bit longer than them. We like to keep them fairly close to what the actual sunset and sunrise is. We supplement their lights with these UV lights over here, which simulate the sunlight. So we end up usually turning them off around 7 p.m. at night. And once the lights go out, they are pretty quick to go to sleep. And then they kind of get up once the sunlight starts to come in through the window. But they are fully awake once we turn on the lights in the morning, which is usually around 8 a.m. So they get like maybe an hour or two of just very mild sunlight coming through the window, followed by more full sunlight once we turn on all the lights in here. So it's them pretty much following our schedule. I occasionally see the chickens nap throughout the day. And you see them do a lot of things like preening as they are now. Chickens have a lot of like cat-like behavior. They like to clean themselves throughout the day. They periodically come to you for affection. And they are even interested in hunting bugs. Some chickens hunt rats and mice. So chickens are just kind of like the cats of the bird world. And servant of kindness, thank you for the heartwarming award. That is much appreciated there. So, assuming it doesn't get canceled for tomorrow, I probably will not be broadcasting tomorrow. It will probably be my partner Lauren, who has the username Daunting Walnut. And so it will probably be a different time, probably a morning broadcast around 10 a.m. or a afternoon broadcast around 5 p.m. because I'm going to be heading into the city to do a COVID test for one of the productions I'm working on this Friday. So that should be exciting. It's supposed to be a sketch show for the HBO Max service. So that will be an interesting experience to see how they operate. I have not done a production that's been on HBO Max before. So we'll see if, you know, there are people that I want to work with again. Yeah. So far, my schedule this week is Tuesday and Friday for work. So for Wednesday and Thursday, you can look forward to our regular schedule of me starting the broadcast around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then going on to around 2:30 p.m., depending on awards, and just depending on how the broadcast goes. How you doing, Braveheart? Yeah? Oh, Stormy's listening to all that rain going on outside. It's starting up again. There are a few gusts. And it's a good thing you little chickies are inside here, where it's nice and bright, where it is lovely and warm. You have all the food that you can eat. You have toys if you ever want to play with them. You have all your blankets. And of course, you have all of this lovely company. No, we just clean up the poop after them. We sweep and we mop about twice a day, and we clean the blankets every 2 to 3 days. Today is laundry day for the chickens, so after today's broadcast, I'm going to be cleaning up these blankets and towels and putting them through a sanitized cycle through the washer, and then a antibacterial cycle through the dryer. And considering that it's only 3 chickens, you know, they do poop, but